Hey everyone, it's Professor Clark. Welcome to Chapter 4. Woohoo! We are making a lot of progress. I hope you feel like you are learning more and more Russian. You are learning more and more Russian. There's still obviously lots and lots and lots of Russian to learn, but you are starting to be able to make little sentences and say little things and actually communicate a little bit in Russian. Chapter 3, as I'm sure I don't need to tell you, was pretty heavy going. Chapter 4 is a little bit lighter. They kind of like to alternate heavy chapters and light chapters. So this should be a little bit shorter, quicker, and easier. And we're going to jump in with something we already know, which is the verb учиться, to study or to go to school or be in school. We've already discussed the verb учиться, but let's go over it again. The verb учиться, which again is to study or to be in school, is a second conjugation verb with shifting stress. It is also a reflexive verb. And remember, reflexive verbs are verbs where the action reflects back on the subject or there's some kind of mutual action. And учиться is literally to teach yourself. Учить, one of the meanings of the verb учить is to teach, and учиться is you're teaching yourself or learning on yourself or something. And we know it's reflexive because we see this reflexive particle ся at the end. And we just always put the reflexive particle ся at the end of reflexive verbs in all the forms. But remember that ся actually comes in two forms. So it is ся, ся, after consonants, and s, мягкий знак, after vowels. And this is true in the non-past, just like it was in the past that we saw last chapter. So, for instance, we have я учусь, ты учишься, она учится, мы учимся. Вы учитесь. Они учатся. And so note that it is мягкий знак after the я and вы forms and ся after all the other forms. And this is going to be the pattern for all reflexive verbs. In the non-past tense, the ся is going to become мягкий знак in the я and вы forms and remain ся, ся, in all the other forms. Also note the shifting stress. So the ya form is n-stressed, я учусь, and all the other forms are stem-stressed, ты учишься. You may have noticed something about the spelling in that conjugation, namely, where was the you and the ya? If you remember, normally we would have you in the ya form and ят in the они form, so я говорю, они говорят. But here we had учусь with an u and учиться with an a. This is because of the 8-letter spelling rule, what our textbook Голоса calls the 8-letter spelling rule. And the 8-letter spelling rule says that after the velars, g, k, h, and the hushers and honorary hushers, zh, ts, ch, sh, and sha, you cannot write you or ya, you have to write u and a instead. And this primarily comes into effect in the ya and ani forms of second conjugation verbs. So we write учусь and учится. Note that because ch is always soft, you might think that you're going to want to write a u and a ya there. That's what you might hear. But in fact, even though you hear u and ya there, what we write is u and a.